My thought on Zhanna D'Art and the raw vegan diet. Is Natto raw vegan? That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of Natto Unleashed and the Ikigai Diet. All right, so now it's a different outfit today. Yeah, I got a new cap, by the way. You remember I used to wear this red one? This is a Kandeki cap. Yeah, but now I'm 61 years old, so Kandeki is over. So I'm not wearing a red cap anymore. Okay, so my thought on Zhanna D'Art. Yeah, so who is Zhanna D'Art? Yeah, she is a raw vegan influencer, especially on Instagram or something. And recently she died. And she is believed to have died of starvation, and maybe because she was practicing this diet, but we don't know for sure. Yeah. So today I'd like to talk about this and what I think of the raw vegan diet and whether natto is raw vegan and how we can think about a diet in general. Right. Now, so first of all, I would like to pray for her soul, and I hope she rests in peace. Yeah, that's the first thing I would like to say. Yeah, about her death. Yeah, and about her death, many people sort of speculating about it, but we don't know the fact. In fact, I mean, for this kind of thing, for anything, only the actual person knows the fact. And all other people, even though like her friends, people who claim to be her friends, don't know the fact, what really happened to her. Yeah. Um, Now, so many people are jumping into this opportunity, especially anti-plant-based diet camp. Yeah, to prove their point, saying, see, that's what happens if you practice a raw vegan diet and so on. But we need to be careful with this because there are many factors involved in it. And it could be other reasons that she died. That's possible. And let's say if she died because of her diet, it doesn't mean if you practice this diet, the same thing will happen to you because every person is different. You have a different metabolism, you live in different environment, and there's so many factors influence, yeah, your condition. So it's difficult to judge. Okay, so what do I think of the raw vegan diet then? Yeah, or like how should we look at a diet? Yeah, and possibly to find an ideal diet for you. Yeah. Now, so first of all, the position of the Ikigai diet is that any diet is okay. I mean, diet is a personal thing. It's really up to individual decision, really. So any diet is okay. So if you choose to practice the raw vegan diet, then that is perfectly fine. Yeah, you have a probably all reasons to do it. I suppose you practice a raw vegan diet because you believe that by eating food raw, you can gain more enzyme. Yeah, and that is probably true. And also, you think it is more sustainable because you don't need to cook. Yeah, when you cook food, you use more energy. Yeah, and the fact that you're being vegan, you have a different reasons, ethical reason, the cruelty of animals, the environmental reason, and the health reason, and all kind of reasons. So, if you're convinced with that idea, and then that is your choice, I'm perfectly happy that you choose this way. Yeah, the same thing can be true about the carnivore diet. Yeah, if you're convinced that that way of eating is best for you, then that is your decision. And when you choose a diet or when you look at a diet, there are so many factors. You need to think of so many factors. Now, many people look at only one single issue or one factor. For example, nutritional argument. In fact, many people use nutritional argument when they talk about a plant-based diet or raw food diet. Yeah, like you don't have enough vitamin B12 or you don't have enough protein and so on. Yeah. But a lot of vegan people I know are not in it for nutrition. They practice the diet because of the ethical reason. Yeah. So unless you bring the ethical argument, there's no point. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't want to eat meat because they don't like the idea of treating, animals and, the cruelty of animals. That's the main thing. So no matter how convincing your argument is about, protein and vitamin B12, unless you provide alternative to how we treat animals, there's no point, right? I mean, of course, you can talk about nutrition, and that especially for scientists and doctors, it's important to give certain data saying we need this amount of nutrient and stuff like that. It's very useful, but that's only one aspect of the whole picture, really. Yeah. So why don't I practice the raw vegan diet then? Well, number one, because of natto. Yeah. So that answers another question. Is natto raw vegan? No, it isn't. Natto is vegan. I mean, mostly. Yeah. Especially if you make, natto at home, it is absolutely 100% vegan. But certain products may not. Yeah. For details, please watch my other video. Is natto vegan, vegetarian? The ultimate answer. Right. So because I want to eat natto and I want to eat fermented brown rice and miso soup. Yeah. They are both cooked. So if you practice the raw vegan diet, you cannot eat them. In fact, many grains and beans and vegetables, yeah, you have to give up, right? And grains are very important for me. Because when you look at the world, yeah, this is an interesting scene actually. There's a rice field here and then wheat field. It's in Japan. I mean, it's like near my house. Yeah. So in Japan, we mostly grow rice. Yeah. But I suppose in Europe, you grow wheat a lot, right? So wheat and rice are probably the most produced grain throughout the world. Yeah. And that's the most common kind of, I don't know, food production sort of system, if you like. Yeah. And when you think of why we chose this method, this, type of food, because grains can be stored. Yeah. You can just store rice or wheat for, 1 year or 2 years. Yeah. How many other food items do you know that can be stored for such a long time? Even potatoes can be stored for about 6 months, and onions can be stored about 6 months too. But most vegetables, you cannot keep them for a long time, right? So that's something you want to think about. Yeah, if you want to think about the sustainability of the food, whether you are able to sustain producing food. Yeah. Now, often we talk about natural lifestyle or sustainable lifestyle, going back to nature and so on. And I think in today's world, you're talking about agricultural lifestyle or farming lifestyle, not hunter and gatherer lifestyle. I know some people, talk about ancestral lifestyles and so on, but it is very difficult to practice hunter-gatherer lifestyle in the present planet. There are not many forests left. There are not many, wild animals left and so on. Well, apparently there are a lot of wild animals in my area, a lot of deers and, wild pigs and so on. But usually not and mostly, farmland or in industrial areas or residential areas, right? So if we were to go back to more natural lifestyle, we're talking about farming lifestyle. Yeah. So the question is, when we want to think of sustainability, the question is, how do you sustain this lifestyle? That's something we need to think about along with our diet. Now, a lot of people who talk about diet, they only think in terms of diet. Yeah, so many of them, even scientists say, okay, this is the optimal food, or this combination of nutrient is optimal for your health. But then they don't question the sustainability of it. They think they're based on the kind of globalized agricultural system, like a big scale agricultural system where anything is available, every nutrient is available. Yeah. But in my mind, or even in the concept of the Ikigai diet, yeah, eat what you can produce is critical. So even though there is a certain superfood, yeah, if you cannot produce it, or if you cannot produce it easily, or if you cannot produce it sustainably, then there is no point, right? So the diet and food productions are set. Yeah, they are related. And then when I went to England, I was very surprised because the landscape was different. Now, when you look at the picture, like it's flat, isn't it? Like rice field has to be flat, yeah? But in England, it's very hilly. And I didn't really see a completely flat space, mostly kind of hilly area. And it's very difficult to make rice field. Therefore, you probably have a wheat field. Or what I was told was this pastoral farming became common because it was suitable to the landscape. Yeah. So every region has a different system. Yeah. You need to look at the landscape and climate to find a sustainable way of food production. Yeah. Now, a lot of vegans probably protest the idea of raising animals, but I think there's a big difference between factory farming and like more traditional family scale pastoral farming. Yeah. So I'm against the factory farming, and I avoid eating any animal product based on factory farming. Yeah. But I think pastoral farming is a little different. And then that reminds me of this debate. Yeah, it was a debate done. So plant-based diet versus diet including animals. Yeah, it was done by Kip Anderson, with a producer of a film called Cowspiracy, and Dr. Joel Kahn. He's also in the side of the plant-based diet, versus Dave Asprey, the founder of the bulletproof coffee. Yeah. And then, so it's called The Ideal Diet. It was done at Google. So it's on YouTube, so you can watch it. And in fact, it's interesting to watch it. Yeah. In this debate, Dave Asprey said that he included meat in his diet, but he has his own farm, and it's kind of organic farm. I mean, he sort of has a sort of grass-fed, beef, and everything is kind of free range and so on, and so he doesn't eat factory farmed meat. Yeah, in fact, a lot of people who in kind of a diet including animal eat sort of so-called organic meat, not factory farmed meat. Yeah. And then something Dave Asprey said was interesting, because he said those type of farming can be beneficial because, if you have animals, then they have compost, and compost can become fertilizers and so on. And then it doesn't mean I support Dave Asprey's view. or, I think both are saying something interesting. I mean, Kip Anderson was making some interesting point, and Dave Asprey is making some point too. In fact, I want to go beyond this debate and dualism mindset. One side has to be right and the other side has to be wrong, or discussion is to prove that you're right, the other person is wrong. That kind of mentality. In fact, in Japan, we hardly have this kind of debate. We don't like to have a debate like that, because when we are in this mindset, we often lose an opportunity to see a third solution. Maybe none of us is right. There could be a third answer. Yeah, but you have to be open to that. But if you're in this kind of competitive mindset, you cannot reach to that common ground. But in this debate, they were agreeing on certain things. In fact, the common ground was both of them are against processed food and factory farming, and in fact, compared to the majority of regular people who practice SAD diet, standard American diet, I mean, they're much better off, that kind of thing. Yeah. For details, please watch this video. The other thing is psychological aspect. Yeah. Eating is a social occasion and it has to be fun, and it becomes your ikigai too. When you practice a very strict diet, no matter how morally right you are or how nutritionally optimal it is, if it's not fun for you, then it is very difficult for you to continue. And if you cannot continue doing it, then what is the point? Right. And it's not only just you. Like, for example, for me, I mean, I can give up meat just for myself. But do I want to force that to my family? Or do I want to force that to my community? Because eating is a very sort of communal things, really. Yeah. So, do you choose to be, do you choose to stick to your diet and become very antisocial? I mean, of course, you can find ways to be social, even though you have a specific diet. That's possible these days. But that's one factor you need to think about. What do you want to do? Yeah. So to sum up, to think of a diet, yeah, maybe to choose or find an ideal diet for you, you need to think of all those aspects: nutritional aspect, ethical aspect, sustainable aspect, psychological aspect, and communal aspect. And based on all those considerations, you just choose one diet. And if you decided to practice the raw vegan diet, then go ahead. And if you decide to practice carnivore diet, then go ahead. Yeah. And then the Ikigai diet that I practice is based on those different aspects. And I came up with a system called Hare and K system. Yeah. For details, please read the book, especially chapter 12, Adding Hygge to the Japanese Diet, is dealing with a topic that I discussed today. The book is available on Amazon as Kindle and print-on-demand paperback. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya, the author of Natto Unleashed and the Ikigai Diet. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and please subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. What is your thought on the raw vegan diet or vegan diet or diet in general? What is your ideal diet? Thank you. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai!